What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie. Today we're at Game Grove at the card shop, and we're going to do a little bit of card shop life video for you. Lots of things going on. We got Lorcana release this week. This is our, this is our prize support trove. We do a win a trove event for our pre-release. Just kind of fun thing. Anybody 3-0 gets entered into winning a trove. I spent all morning trying to fix the card sorter. This is our magic sorter, and she is not working these days. The little thing that makes it so it only picks up one card is just having a hard day. It's just not working. So shout out to Magic Sorter for never really working. So today I want to talk about always be buying. I was going to do this out there, but some stuff's going on. I've become more and more aware that the owning of a card store and running even online business, like not even just like the card shop locally, but this could apply, I think, to even TCG Player and that other stuff, is more about having a wide breadth of inventory than it is about anything. And that's what I've really honed in on locally, but also online. And the idea that like the customer base for TCGs has changed so rapidly over the last couple years. No longer does the average customer just look for the newest Magic the Gathering set. Especially with the influx of Commander and pre-cons and that kind of thing, having inventory of all these different Commander decks, having inventory of all these different Magic sets, and even having inventory of all these different games that people want these days, I think is becoming more and more important. And so what I've kind of learned is that it's not even about the sales as much as it is about the purchases, if that makes sense. In other words, if I sell out of a set of Commander decks or of a Commander deck, or if I sell out of a booster box, that means that no longer can I get those sales from those products. And so I have to find ways of acquiring and buying things that people want that are out of stock at distribution. This works the same way with singles too. They're out of stock all around the world, around places, because when people walk in, they have an idea of what they want, and then you want to have that product for them. The same thing works for online sellers of card games. I know a lot of the people who watch this channel, and I've tried to curate my content a little bit towards this. A lot of people who watch the channel are selling singles on TCG Player, and a lot of the gold wizards in my Kitchen Table TCG Discord server, they buy Commander decks from me at cost, and they buy tons of Commander decks in order to break down the singles in order to sell all the singles. So I know a lot of you guys are doing this. And what I've learned is that the more inventory you have, this is so basic, right? The more inventory you have, the more, wide breadth of sales that you get. And so what this means is that you don't just want to be the lowest price. You don't want to sell out of everything all the time. And it's kind of counterintuitive, in my opinion, because the goal of sales is to sell the product that you have. But if you sell all the product you have, you don't have that kind of regular kind of income that's just kind of coming. And if you have more product, inevitably your sales end up being bigger. So if I have a bunch of cards from Bloomborough, and then I have one or two cards that somebody else wants, the orders end up being the cards that wouldn't sell previously end up selling because I have the Bloomborough cards and the other cards. So by having a wider width of inventory, your sales are stronger, but then you still have to get back into the buying of the other things. And this is really where I wanted this video to go, is that I have had to come up with a policy of always saying yes to buying. It doesn't matter what you come into the shop with. It doesn't really matter like the condition of the cards or the sale of the card or like the value of the card. Anything, we say anything over 50 cents, we buy, and we are literally always buying. I know a lot of other stores, they worry about the amount of money that they're spending. I get that. Listen, I get that. Trust me. I understand like the payroll and the rent and all that other stuff. But if you say no to the customers who want to sell you things, there's only so many customers who come in who want to sell things. You don't get to dictate what they bring in. The same way that we don't get to dictate what's available at distribution or what's not available at distribution. we have to figure out ways to acquire product. And that's the biggest hang up of this business, I think, is figuring out consistent ways to acquire product. It used to be that I would go on Facebook Marketplace, right? When I was just doing this, not on YouTube or anything. Go to Facebook Marketplace and I would try to pick up, collections, and then I would sift through the collections to sell cards on TCG Player. It was a blast. There's some videos actually on the channel of us going through Facebook collections and finding really cool cards and making $100, making $200. But the consistency of which you're buying dictates the sales of which you acquire down the road. And so for us at Game Grove, what I've had to do is increase the opportunity to buy. We have doubled up on advertising that we buy. We've doubled up on the YouTube channel. Obviously, I'm always buying collections. Reach out to me at KitchenTableTCG@gmail.com if you want to sell your cards. But also then had to increase the ability, things like the card sorter, the ability to process through these collections efficiently and effectively, so that then when we do get the sales, we are able to, get them out the door in an efficient way. So it's really sales of card games, in my opinion, have turned into the ability to acquire a vast array of products. The ability to acquire products is as important as your ability to sell them, which is a really interesting, different dichotomy I think that we live in. And so this also, takes in play like the difference of which you do with the products. It's not just selling things like commander decks. It's also like what I would like to see us do is start breaking down more commander decks. A lot of people online are doing that. A lot of people I interact with are doing it. So I want to add that into my kind of economy of this game store, is breaking down more and more commander decks. But then the other thing I really want to focus on over the next 6 months, I said this 6 months ago, but is eBay, and really honing in an eBay store and getting consistent with listing. And because what happens is the more you buy, the more you say, hey, we buy everything, the more you get these kind of niche products that you don't have a local customer for, that you don't even have really like an online customer for. So you need to create other avenues of which to sell those things, like on eBay. Then there's stuff that doesn't even sell on TCG Player. There's stuff that's just like not even listable on TCG Player. So I have to figure out a way to have an efficient dichotomy of selling on eBay, buying collections, and what that turns into is time. It comes into how much time do you have to work on product acquisition, and then figure out how to direct your attention to, okay, now it's time to put on my selling pants. Now it's time to put on my buying pants. Now it's time to work on this and work on that. And at the end of the day, it's just like, it's a lot of fun. Like it is. This industry, I almost called it a hobby. This industry is wild, and you have all these things going on. But it's fun to get to handle so many cool cards and move them back and forth and trade with a lot of people. It's been fun. It's the other side of this, when you get into the acquisitions of things and picking up collections, having people and relationships in mind that allow you to trade for things that are maybe easier for me to move in stores. So like one of the things I do often is I'll buy too much product that I need, but then I'll trade the product for Pokemon. I do this. I trade some of the product for slabs, because I know slabs sell really well. They're easier to sell online, but also in store, it's a good thing for people to look at. And they tend to be a little bit more stable in terms of the pricing. Booster box can come and go in terms of pricing. Long term, it's usually a pretty good hold, but it also takes up room. But a slab, it really sticks on the same kind of price point, or kind of gradually goes up for most of the stuff that I buy, vintage Magic or vintage Pokemon, that kind of stuff. But the point is, if you're able to have these relationships as you're acquiring product, you're then able to trade those products to different things for something that works more efficiently for you, but works out well for the other person. So that's another side of this. This is a rambling video. I know, it's that freaking card sorter, man. It took me out of my day. But the point is that in this industry, the ability to figure out how to buy things is as important, if not more important, than your ability to figure out how to sell things. the acquisition is as important as the sales. So that's just my thought for the day. Hopefully you're having a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. If you're interested in hopping into the Discord server, head on over to KitchenTableTCG.com. We should be back to a little bit more normal content next week. We got the podcast tomorrow. I might try to get some stuff going for Saturday or Sunday. But then Monday, I'm hoping to be back to regular content. Gen Con took a ton out of me. And yeah, so getting back with family and that kind of stuff. Have a great day. Be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.